Xbox thinks this feature will make up for huge losses. Say goodbye to this key Xbox leader. Let's discuss. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Xbox Ready, the YouTube channel that is dedicated to all things Xbox. I come on here and talk about the latest Xbox news, but I'm gonna start to get into some breaking news. Yes, I'm back with some more breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Your boy Ray has the scoop, thanks to his friends at Xbox. Say goodbye to Xbox Live Gold, or prepare to say goodbye to it, because starting on September 14th, Xbox is officially doing away with Gold and replacing it with Game Pass Core. Now, obviously, this is bittersweet news because Xbox Live Gold, I mean, come on, we got history with that name, man. For a lot of you, it was probably integral to your Xbox experience. Playing games online, claiming games free every month with Games with Gold. But I wouldn't be too worried about it because in terms of the features, in terms of its function, Game Pass Core seems to be very similar to Xbox Live Gold. First of all, it's still going to be the same price, so $10 a month or $60 for a year. Game Pass Core will still give you the ability to play games online, and you'll still get discounts like you used to with Gold. The key difference here is that Game Pass Core will give you access to 25 titles from the Game Pass library, so not the full thing, but just a small little sample. The games that are launching with Game Pass Core include Among Us, Descenders, Dishonored 2, Doom Eternal, Fable Anniversary, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5, Grounded, Halo 5 Guardians, Halo Wars 2, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, Human Fall Flat, Inside, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Psychonauts 2, State of Decay 2, and The Elder Scrolls Online, Tamriel Unlimited. And in addition to that, Xbox is going to be adding titles to the Game Pass Core library about 2 to 3 times a year is what they're saying. So for those of you with Xbox Live Gold on September 14th, that will automatically be converted to Game Pass Core. Like I said, it's pretty much going to be the same for you guys, except you'll have access to those titles I was just talking about. In the info that they sent me, it seems like the price increase is going to be taking effect here in the US as well, or at least that's what it seems like, because they have Game Pass Core priced at $9.99, console Game Pass at $10.99, and Game Pass Ultimate at $16.99. I did reach out to Xbox for clarification on this, and they said yes, the prices here are accurate. So for people paying monthly for their Game Pass subscription, the price increase won't take effect until August 13th, but anyone who has paid for their subscription via like a code or some sort of giveaway, you won't have to pay the new prices until you re-up your subscription. As part of this transition, they are officially ending Games with Gold on September 1st. Now, that's not really a surprise because Games with Gold, honestly, has kind of fallen off. Last game I claimed was freaking Star Wars Racers, which is really awesome, but it's been kind of up and down. The offerings haven't been as strong as they were in the past. For any Xbox One games that you've claimed through Games with Gold, you'll still be able to access them as long as your subscription is active. For older games that you've claimed through the Games with Gold program, like from the Xbox 360 era, you'll be able to play those with or without a subscription. I know some people are going to have mixed feelings about this. Yes, we all loved Xbox Live, we all loved Games with Gold, but I feel like the writing has been on the walls for a while now. Game Pass is Xbox's focus, or at least it seems that way. And with the decline of Games with Gold over the past year or two, I feel like it was only a matter of time for something like this to happen. I feel like this is a pretty good move, like it's not too much of a departure from Xbox Live or Xbox Live Gold, and it's nothing crazy like an ad-supported tier of Game Pass. Y'all know me at this point, I'm a fan of Game Pass, it's something I utilize very heavily, but it's not for everyone. So Game Pass Core is a great option for people who are like, Game Pass is just not my thing, man. I don't have time to play a billion games on the catalog, or I only want to play one game on Game Pass, so I'll just buy it instead of paying for the subscription every month. For those kinds of people, I feel like Game Pass Core is still a solid option. It's not too obtrusive to their Xbox experience. They have all the same benefits that they had with Xbox Live Gold, just something a little bit extra. Now, the game library for Game Pass Core, it seems like they had a meeting and they were like, okay, no games that were released in the past 2 years. I feel like the most recent release on that list is Psychonauts 2, which came out in 2021. I think that's an important distinction to make, right? Oh, if you want to play the newest day one titles coming to Xbox or like third-party stuff, upgrade to console Game Pass or Game Pass Ultimate. But yeah, either way, it is an end of an era. Hopefully this new Game Pass-centric era is just as good, if not better, than Xbox Live Gold. I'd appreciate it if you subscribed. I would appreciate it if you used the links down below this video to buy Xbox stuff if you're in the market for any of that. And I would appreciate a follow on my Instagram and Threads account at State of Ray. And I would also appreciate it if you poured one out for our homie Larry Herb, aka Major Nelson. On Friday the 14th, he tweeted out that he was officially going to be leaving Xbox behind after 20 years. Now, for those of you who don't know, Major Nelson was the director of programming at Xbox. From my understanding, he had a background in radio and communications, which he leveraged to great success with projects like the official Xbox podcast. He was kind of like the player liaison between Xbox and its customers. And I know he's done a ton of other work with other companies doing similar things. I was surprised to learn that he was 65 years old, and that's no knock on him. I'm not knocking 65-year-olds. I just thought when I met him, I thought he was at least like 10, 12 years younger. Even though he's leaving Xbox, apparently he's been working on some other stuff, but unfortunately the official Xbox podcast is going to be going on hiatus over the summer. And once it comes back, apparently it's going to be restructured in some way. Whatever happens, I wish the man, the myth, the legend, Major Nelson continued success in whatever he does. And maybe it's time for a new Major Nelson to step up. Maybe that Major Nelson is one of you watching. Who knows? Now, the release of Starfield is just around the corner, and myself and I know a lot of you guys are excited for this game's release. I feel like I've been talking about it forever. I've been hearing about it forever, and finally, we're going to be able to have our hands on this game and experience it for ourselves. This game was a huge point of contention in Microsoft's legal battle against the FTC. The FTC was like, yo, you bought ZeniMax Media and made Starfield, which is supposed to be a multi-platform game, into an Xbox exclusive. What's to stop you from doing that from any Activision Blizzard game? And as much as PlayStation fans want to play it cool and they're like, I can miss out on Starfield, whatever, there is a lot of players over on that side of the fence who want the game to come to PlayStation consoles. There's a whole petition saying that Starfield should be PlayStation 5 exclusive. Well, according to documents gathered by the FTC in order to try to block this deal, try to restrain Activision Blizzard and Xbox from making any progress on the acquisition. Now, I feel like Starfield 10 million copies, that's pretty reasonable, right? I don't know if Indiana Jones would make up a significant portion of that 10 million figure. Maybe like 8 million copies of Starfield sold, and then 2 million of Indiana Jones on PlayStation 5. And according to the same document, Microsoft believes that these losses in sales could be offset by the growth of Game Pass and the amount of consoles sold because these games are so awesome. Now, that is a pretty bold stance, I would say. It's like, sure, I like Game Pass, I like Xbox. But here we have Xbox leadership saying, no, our secret weapon, Game Pass, it'll be more than enough to make up for, well, 10 times 70, $700 million worth of sales. And I'm personally not so sure about that, guys. I'm not so sure about that. That's not saying that Starfield's not going to be a success. That's not saying Indiana Jones is going to flop. But to think that Game Pass subscriptions gained after the release of Starfield is going to make up for one-to-one sales of upwards of 10 million, I'm not quite following that logic. If you sell 10 million copies of a $70 game, that's $700 million. If you got 10 million new Game Pass subscriptions, that is, I don't know, 150 million for that 1 month. And that's like maximum. That's assuming everyone gets Game Pass Ultimate. And we also have to think about that they brought the $1 introductory month back. So how many people are going to sign up for Game Pass in September for $1, play Starfield, and then cancel their subscriptions? Is that net gain of subscribers going to be enough for Xbox? Now, there is no doubt in my mind that once Starfield releases and it's added to Game Pass, that there's going to be a lot more subscribers. There's going to be even people buying an Xbox to play this game. But I don't think the uptick in sales is going to be as crazy or as explosive as Xbox is maybe anticipating. This could be a different story if Redfall released a couple of months ago and it was a banger. Because then you're in a situation where it's like, okay, Redfall was a banger, let's see what Xbox and Bethesda's cooking up next, I gotta see it. But of course, that was not the case. Again, I'm not saying Starfield is going to review like Redfall or it's going to be the same quality of game, but in my personal opinion, we should temper expectations on the effect that Starfield is going to have on Game Pass and console sales. I could be wrong. Maybe that game comes out, it reviews very well, everyone is like, you have to play this game, it is a must-have, go buy an Xbox, go get Game Pass, go and play this game. And of course, we've seen in the past games selling well despite being included on Game Pass. So even though the focus of this article and this core document is on Game Pass, oh, Game Pass is going to offset the losses of sales, this game still could sell very, very well. When it released earlier this year, Hi-Fi Rush continued to sell very well on Steam and on Xbox despite being on PC and console Game Pass. Starfield's going to be on Game Pass, but that's not stopping it from a bunch of people wishlisting it on Steam and pre-ordering it. Now, to be clear, I'm not advocating for Xbox to suddenly change their mind and bring Starfield to PlayStation. As Todd Howard has mentioned in the past, if they had to accommodate for PlayStation consoles, we wouldn't be seeing this game for like another year. I think it was a smart move to make it exclusive to Xbox. I'm just not convinced that Game Pass growth and console sales are gonna make up for the money they could have potentially made by releasing this game on PlayStation. We might not be seeing Call of Duty or Diablo on Game Pass anytime soon because of all this legal drama, but next week we are going to be getting one of the largest content drops in Xbox console history. And more surprising, it comes via a competing cloud gaming service. Antstream Arcade is coming to Xbox One and Xbox Series consoles, and it's bringing over 1,300 retro games. That means games like Metal Slug, Pac-Man, Space Invaders. The company says these titles will be playable instantly without additional downloads or installation via its cloud gaming platform, with more titles being added every week. This is cool for a number of reasons. One, okay, I get a bunch of classic games on my Xbox that further cements my Xbox as like a one-stop shop for everything I need, especially if I pair Antstream up with my Series S that has dev mode on it, that has emulators on it. I can play pretty much any game I want on that thing. Antstream is also the first third-party cloud gaming service that has official support on Xbox consoles. Back when I first started the channel, I did play Google Stadia on my Xbox, but I had to use a web browser for that. Apparently, this is going to be its own dedicated app. According to Engadget, Antstream says that it's using unique technology to mod original games, allowing the company to create new minigame challenges for both new and returning players. For example, you can play a modified Pac-Man map, where the main objective is to avoid collecting the dots. Players will be able to enter tournaments, challenge other players to duels, or compete for the highest score. Antstream for Xbox is available for pre-order. You can either pay $30 annually or just $80 for lifetime access. Now, earlier in the video, we talked about Major Nelson leaving Xbox, but there's also a notable departure, this time from the team that's working on Fable. But with everyone saying their goodbyes to Major Nelson, you may not have seen that the lead narrative designer has exited the project after a couple of years of working on the game. Anna McGill announced that she was going to be leaving the Fable team in August. She's done great work in the past. She's worked on Control, which I love, and apparently she did some work on the new Avatar game, Frontiers of Pandora. Friends, I have news. In August, I'm stepping away from my role as narrative lead on Fable. I've had several wonderful years scribbling away in my fairy tale cottage, but the time feels right for new challenges. Working on Fable was a dream come true for me, and it's been wrenching to leave it behind. But Playground has assembled a heroically talented team, so I know it's in good hands. I'm excited for what's coming next, for them and for me. Now, this is the first time someone has left a team at Xbox or a studio at Xbox or a project where I haven't been instantly worried. Fable is no longer shrouded in mystery as it was this time last year. We got a pretty decent look at it. I think the trailer did very well when they showed it off at the showcase in June. Like, most of the narrative, most of the story, most of the dialogue, I'm assuming, is done. And I'm trying to figure out where it puts that game in terms of, like, when is Fable releasing? After the Xbox showcase, I was talking to Paris Lilly, Mr. Vicious himself, and I was like, what do you think? Like, Fable 2024? He was like, oh, definitely not. It's probably going to be 2025. Of course, we were just spitballing here, but he was like, well, think about it. They also got Avowed coming out in 2024, and do you really want, like, two fantasy RPG kind of... And they're not, different games, obviously. Different games, different tones, different feels, but, like, sort of in the same genre. So I was like, yeah, you got a good point, but it feels like 2025 is a long time away. How are you gonna show us a trailer like that, get us all hyped, and then make us wait what, potentially 2 years. Long story short, I want to see what Fable is like. I want to play it. I want to see the work that Anna McGill has done and the rest of her team has done. Hopefully we'll get an update on that soon, but again, we got a lot to look forward to as Xbox fans. Starfield coming up September, Motorsport the month after that, and then a pretty solid lineup of games in 2024. Anyways, guys, that's all the news I have for today. Thanks so much for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready, another news update, and we'll see you in the next video.